Can Wyze handle the heat? Wyze states operating temperatures are 32 to 104 degrees, but we think they're sandbagging it. We'll put it to the test today in one of the hottest days of the year in Phoenix at 114 degrees. With our cheap thermometer, we reached 116 degrees in the shade. Using an infrared thermometer, we took the surface temperature in the shade of 127 degrees, and in the sun, we got a temperature of 160 degrees. So will it survive the scorching heat? To give it a fighting chance, we'll show you which product we used to install it, some test footage, as well as the app ActionTiles that we use to review footage for the family, and then just overall thoughts of the product itself. Below the video in the description area, we'll place a link to Amazon to where you can find this product. This articulating outdoor camera mount comes in white and black, as well as hardware for the installation, including a screwdriver.
One thing you'll notice is this actually doesn't have a cover. It's also not sealed with a gasket, so definitely wouldn't recommend this, out exposed. I'm going to be putting it underneath the eaves, the roof line, and it'll be pretty much in the shade the entire time. There we go. And then you put in the USB right in there.
For the installation, we needed to find out where we wanted to install it. Here you'll see our front door with a doorbell on the left. It's really small. Ultimately, we weren't going to have a space for a video doorbell, and I also didn't like the idea of having the video footage down low to where someone could tamper and mess with it. I wanted it up high. This would be the field of view roughly if we were to install a video doorbell, which has a lot of the street and a lot of the neighbors' homes. Don't really care about that. Really wanted a view from a little bit higher up where we can look down directly on who was at the door. With how brutally hot it gets here in the summer, we made the requirement that it had to be a location that was in the shade all throughout the day, and this was an eave just on the other side of the door. We drilled a hole through the one-car garage wall and took the power to where the garage door opener was, and that's how we tied it in.
Okay, before permanently mounting with all 3 screws, doing a test run right now with the mount installed in this location. Want to see flexibility and field of view of what the camera is able to see, but I'm going to try this location out first and see how it goes. Okay, now the camera's inside of the mount. Going to put the cord into the back through the hole, then mount this up and see how I want to position it.
Took a few minutes playing around with the app once the device was plugged in and kind of pitching it and angling it in the right direction, but we eventually got what we were hoping for, which was a nice alignment. Here's some sample footage from the Wyze camera showing the garage door opening and the vehicle coming in. Ultimately, we're pleased with this angle and coverage. Also, we're happy with how small the camera appeared as those that walked up to the front door. It's very difficult to see. This is an angle standing at the front door looking at the camera. Here's a still shot of neighborhood kids coming to the front door. Here's a still image at dusk when the sun was going down, and then another image at night with the night vision mode on. A lot of grain and noise in this image, but it is a $25 camera. While the Wyze app works well, we'll be heavily using ActionTiles to review our footage. In the description below the video, we'll link to a couple YouTube video tutorials on how to set this up, as well as a website article that lists it in great detail. Also, at the end of this video, we'll be linking to a previous video we created on how we set up ActionTiles as our one-stop shop for all smart home controls. Here is what our Wyze ActionTiles setup looks like on a couple different devices. This next clip shows what it looks like in landscape mode on a smartphone, and as you'll see, just touching directly on the thumbnail of the camera will expand the image larger. But ultimately it works really well. It does not slow down the other apps, and things appear to be pretty quick to respond. So here's just a couple different apps opening and closing from our ActionTiles app. So now that we've had some time to play with it, we wanted to share some of our thoughts. Ultimately, it's still working. With temperatures up to 115 degrees, that's pretty impressive. It's an inexpensive camera. Even the mount that we purchased was $15. And it allowed us to install it inconspicuously. Also, we were very happy that it works with ActionTiles, which is kind of our all-in-one location for all things smart home. That isn't to say that there aren't issues with the setup. First and foremost, there's a lot of noise in the image. The picture just isn't that great, especially at nighttime. We've also had some software issues. We've had to already disconnect the power and reconnect it for it to get working again. We're hoping that that's not an occurrence that takes place once every 6 days, given the inaccessibility of the power cord in the ceiling of the garage. And last, I think this is really an issue more for Arizona. We get a lot of dust storms, and because this mount is open and has locations where dirt can get in, I can foresee myself having to disconnect, open everything up, and clean the camera out probably once, maybe twice a year. If you've enjoyed this video, may be interested in subscribing to our channel, DIY Around the Home, where we share videos on do-it-yourself fixes, appliance installation, car repairs, smart home technology, and just any other thing that happens around the home. Thanks.